Greetings, fellow conquerors, and welcome to a new series. This is darkfireslide, and today I'm going to be playing Civilization 6. I almost said 5, if I'm being honest, because, honestly, I've played more of 5, but, without belaboring the point, we're going to be playing based on what my subscribers have voted for, and we're going to be playing as Rome. So, without further ado, let's create a game. Alright, so first things first. Look at all these wonderful leaders we have to choose from. We're going to be playing as Trajan, the current Roman leader. And the cool thing about this is later on they might be adding in, like, actually right now even, they have multiple leaders for Greece at least. You know, Greece has both Gorgo of Sparta and Pericles of Athens. So you get, like, different bonuses depending on which leader you choose. So, without further ado, let's talk about Rome. Alright, Rome gets Trajan's Column, which means that all cities start with an additional city center building and gets a monument building in the ancient era. This means that settling cities is going to be very important for us, and having a wide empire, meaning we have a lot of cities as opposed to a tall empire, which means we have fewer but more developed cities, as it were. Rome gets a lot of other bonuses as well. All cities you found or conquer start with a trading post. Well, that's nice. If in trade trade route range of your capital, they also start with a road to it. Your trade routes earn +1 gold for passing through your trading posts in your own cities. So basically, we get +1 gold for internal or for trading posts, which means basically our internal trade is going to be a lot better, and as well getting free roads for just existing is pretty nice as well. We also get legionnaires, or just the legion, I guess is what they call it in this. Melee units aren't that great in this game, but nonetheless we will be building legions just because. And we also get a replacement for the aqueduct, which is nice because it costs half as much, I believe, for being a unique district. Alright, so we're going to be playing on King difficulty because I'm kind of a scrub, and thinking to yourself, oh, Dark, you're playing on King and you're a scrub, whatever. Well, the AI is not particularly great in this, so bear with me. We're going to be playing on standard game speed. We're going to be playing on a continents map, because why not? I wonder what it's going to sound like in subtitles, the way I said continents just now. At any rate, we're going to play on a standard map size, which is 8 players, so the kind of victory we go for is going to depend a lot on the situation that we find ourselves in the first place. Let's go into advanced setup here, make sure all of the victory types are on, everything is standard. We're just playing a very standard game, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to follow along in the same seed, in the same world as me, here we go right here. We've got 160, 600, 1644. Which is the game seed, and then the map random seed is the same thing, but with a 5 at the end instead of a 4. And I'll leave this on the screen for just about 5 or 10 seconds or so, long enough for people to copy it in while I continue to talk over it. I think it's really cool that people can actually like follow along now, that we can actually see like the random seed that the map has. I think that's a really nice feature. However, if you do play along with the seed, please don't spoil anything. Don't be like, Dark, I totally played through this seed in one night, and there's like iron over here. Please don't do that. I appreciate it, but please, no spoilers. It's funny that I have to say that in like a randomly generated game, but without further ado, let's get this ball rolling.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water, to the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your greatest quest. From this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. Cast your net wide, O Trajan, Emperor of mighty Rome. Your legions stand at the ready to march out and establish the largest empire the world has ever seen. If you can truly get all roads to lead to Rome, yours will be an empire of great riches and luxuries. Surely then our citizens will proclaim you as their best ruler, the Optimus Princeps.
Alright, and thanks to that lovely introduction from Sean Bean, we're going to begin our game of Civilization 6. Alright, we get a river start. First things first, we're going to go to the map options here, show the yield icon so we can actually see what each of these tiles are going to provide to us. Now, Civilization, of course, not being a history simulator, more being a board game with a focus, like a history flavor, basically. So we're going to found our first city, which is, of course, going to be Rome. And to start out with, we're going to build a scout. And why are we going to build a scout? Because scouts will help us uncover the map, which helps us find new places to explore, and it's also going to help us find things such as this goody hut right here, as they're called. They're actually called tribal villages, but the entire community calls them goody huts, so we're going to refer to them as goody huts. Alright, we're going to start researching animal husbandry. The reason for this is because we have cattle near us, which means that having cattle means that we can put a worker on these tiles, and it will drastically improve their effectiveness. Now, one important thing to do, this is very much a min-max kind of strategy if you're into doing this. So we're going to manage our citizens, and we have a very good tile here, the 2 food, 2 production, that I'm quite fond of at the moment. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to lock our food tile, and we're going to focus production and food. And what this will do is every time our city grows, we're basically going to get a production bonus out of it. As well, because we switched to a food tile, that means the city's going to grow faster, means it's going to get another population soon, which means that there's going to be more people able to work tiles, which is very important. Because then that will drastically improve the amount of production that the city is able, or capable of, I should say. Trying to give this as a... oh, we've already met our first civilization. This is Harald the Sigurdsson, Norway. He asks if we're afraid. However, I have a feeling that we'll be asking him the same thing when we have legions on his doorstep. And we'll just continue to pass turns by and just calmly explore the land around us for the time being. Alright, we have researched our first policy. The only policy you can research at the start of the game. The Code of Laws, which unlocks our first set of policies. And what we have here, and this is very, very board game-esque, we have a couple of policies, or policy slots, that will allow us to get various bonuses. Personally, what I like to pick first is the Discipline policy, just because it gives you a very good advantage against the hordes of early game barbarians. And what I like to do first is get the God King economic policy, and the reason for this is because after we get a certain amount of faith, we'll actually be able to found what's called a pantheon. And this pantheon will allow us to get some bonuses. So we'll be looking into that. Now, because we've discovered a second continent already, which is a cool feature new to Civilization 6 compared to other civilizations, we've already got the bonus for learning foreign trade, so let's go ahead and get foreign trade. Alright, let's look at continents here. So we're currently on the continent of Australia, and directly bordering Rome is the continent of Laurasia. Fair enough. Anyway, so every technology and cultural policy, as you can see, these are both separated, and both of them have their own, bonuses per turn that you get for them. There is something called a eureka moment, or an inspiration, where if you meet certain criteria by doing certain actions, you will get basically the technology or policy half off. And this is very powerful, as you might understand. Now, unfortunately, Norway here, leaving his crap on our borders, like, please, go away. But I guess he's just going to leave it there for an indefinite period of time. Now, this second move here of building a builder is a little bit questionable, admittedly, because what we could do instead is build a second scout, which would allow us to better survey the land around us. However, building a builder is going to allow us to improve Rome, make it a bigger, better city, and I like the idea of that enough to pursue getting an early builder, probably followed by another warrior. Next, we're going to research mining, because we're building a builder, and having mining means we'll be able to research, or to quarry this stone here, which it's going to increase the production of the city, basically. All right, we've met the city-state of Zanzibar, and every time we meet a city-state, we get a free envoy, is what it's called, and this gives us a bonus depending on the type of city-state that it is. Zanzibar is a mercantile city-state, which means that they're going to give us gold in the capital for having met them, and later on we get more bonuses, which we'll explore in time. I don't want to bog it down at the moment. Alright, we've found a scout, a barbarian scout on the border of Rome. And of course, this is going to... he's going to report back to his barbarian camp, wherever it may be. And he's going to call in more of his barbarian friends to come attack us. And they're no joke. We'll be looking to expand our military almost immediately once we finish up this builder. Now, we've unlocked foreign trade, which means we can build a trader now, which if we had anyone to trade with would be very useful. We also can choose a policy. We also get just a slew of new policies with pretty much every new cultural policy that we research, as it were. Now let's see here. We could research craftsmanship, which would be quite nice because it gives us bonuses towards building builders. However, if we built craftsmanship right now, we couldn't get the inspiration for it very quickly. Just because our builder is going to be done in 5 turns, maybe a little bit quicker than that. But to get the inspiration, we need to improve 3 tiles, so we're going to be researching, I guess, early Empire instead, although that takes even longer. So, you know what? Actually, we are going to go with craftsmanship, even though I just made a huge case for us to not do that. Now, one thing that's very cool about the soundtrack of this game, if you care about that... Oh, hello. Oh, we met Pedro II of Brazil. Well, looks like we'll have another target to conquer, as it were. One way or another, Rome will be great. Or so we hope. Hopefully my my scrubbiness at this game doesn't interfere with that. We're going to ignore these barbarians since they are impeding. Oh, hey, we've met Jerusalem, and because we have met them first, we get an envoy, which means we're going to get +2 faith in the capital, which is going to help us get our pantheon very quickly here. We need 25 faith, so if we're getting 3 per turn, we should be getting that fairly quickly.
Who deserves more credit than the wife of a coal miner?
All right, we've unlocked mining. This is very good. And next, I think we're going to research pottery just to get that granary, which will be really good for growing cities after a certain point. Looks like the Brazilians are having some issues there with barbarians. Fair enough. All right, the Norwegians have sent a delegation to us, doubtless to try to improve relations with us. Hard to say how they all feel about us at this point in time, but... You know, he looks a lot like the main character's father from How to Train Your Dragon, which is a pretty good movie, I think. We're gonna keep exploring. We have finished our builder, and now we're going to begin production on a warrior to help defend our lands, as it were. First things first, we're going to build a let's see, a pasture, I believe it's called. Yes, point is we're improving the tile, and as you can see now we have an extra production on top of the food that we're building, or that we're gathering from that tile. Let's see, Brazil wants to send a delegation. Sure, why not? Now, because we've met other civilizations, our knowledge of writing is going to go up, so that may be something that will be useful to us. I mean, it will be at some point, but will probably definitely be useful. So we're going to improve the stone here. That'll give us an extra production. Oh, we found another barbarian camp. Well then.
Friedrich und herrsche über deutsche und welsche Lande, über Burgund und manche mehr. Ich weiß wohl, dass auch ihr könnt geherrschen mit rechter Gewalt.
Very well, Kaiser Friedrich. It would appear we've met the pretender to the title of the Roman Empire. The Germans, they call themselves. As we can see, they're in the south of what I presume is still Australia, if we look at the continent map mode. They're on the border of the two continents as well, interestingly enough. Very well. Could mean interesting things. We'll see who our allies and enemies shore up to be as time passes here. Alright, it looks like the Brazilians, for whatever reason, are unfriendly towards us. And we're going to use our last build on our builder here to finish up this quarry, which has given us enough, the Eureka, or inspiration, has given us enough to finish up the craftsmanship policy, which is quite good. Let's see. I want to do Early Empire, because Early Empire is quite powerful. I think we're going to go for Early Empire, for that reason. Once we finish up this warrior, however, we are going to look into building a settler and getting our second city up.
I thought Clay must feel happy in the good.
Now, on standard speed, the game isn't particularly quick, nor is it slow. And we've gotten enough religion to found our first found a pantheon, I should say. Now we're in an interesting position. We don't really have any marshes, floodplains. We do have a couple marshes nearby, if I recall correctly, like down here. Lady of the Reeds and Marshes is very good because it can make certain tiles quite powerful that would otherwise be rather lackluster. Apart from that, a really good one is God of the Open Sky, which gives us +1 culture from pastures. Since pastures are provinces or tiles that we're going to work anyway, and we already have 2 cattle in the capital, I think that this is a good way to go, especially since there's so many more like horses and things of that nature nearby. And unlike Civilization 5, we actually keep our pantheon, even if we get another religion. So it'll be really good to pick that up, basically. As you can see, this pasture tile now giving us 1 bonus culture, and in the early game that is quite a lot. We do have the scout walking around on our land. We're going to attack him with our new warrior, and now we're going to begin training a settler, which will allow us to build a new city.
Je suis Catherine, reine mère de France. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue à mon royaume. J'ai grand désir et envie de découvrir tous vos secrets.
Alright, and we've met Catherine de' Medici, the leader of France. And we have a very populated continent, so I think that having the warlike approach is going to be very important to us. Now, we do have 2 barbarian scouts that have spotted us, and are looks like they're going to attempt to report back to their camps. So we'll be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, we are going to continue building the settler. It would be nice to have the bonus from the policy from Early Empire, which gives us 50% production towards settlers. Quite strong, but Rome has grown, which means that we're going to build that settler quicker than we thought. Now, unfortunately, when a city grows, or when a city builds a settler, it loses 1 population. So it's kind of a trade-off between, having a second city and, having more city, or having a larger population. And that'll be done in 7 turns. Alright, now this warrior has killed the barbarian scout, however he has not managed to level up yet. We're going to move him back to the city of Rome proper. And we're going to start maneuvering this warrior back towards our lands. I think it's important to use this first warrior that you get to defend your home, your capital, while the situation exists. France has already built a settler. which is quite intimidating. But I believe that the higher the AI difficulty, the more bonuses that they get, and so we are working at somewhat of a disadvantage at the moment. Alright, we finished the writing technology, and soon if we look at the technology tree here, we're going to want to look into getting ironworking, because with ironworking we'll be able to build the Legion. And unlike the swordsman unit, which it replaces, it does not require any iron to actually build, which is very important because it's going to make it a lot easier to actually get that unit out. In the meantime, researching irrigation will be a good choice, just because we've got a lot of things that can be irrigated near us, such as mainly this tea here, as well as this coffee over here. There's also some bananas up to the northwest of Rome. It'll be useful for getting resources such as those. Looks like the French have founded a city very close to us, which is fortunate that we are building a settler when we are, because it appears that everyone around us is going to be expanding quite quickly. As we can see, the Norwegian border is right about here. That's going to kind of present a problem for us, perhaps. Looks like our warrior is fully healed. Now, one thing that does kind of bother me is the AI occasionally sends these messages based on these agendas that they have, and it is kind of cool that they respond to the certain ways that you might play. At the same time, it's also annoying when they tell you every 2 turns that oh, hey, you're not doing that thing that I don't like, so congrats, I guess. Which is very frustrating when the AI just flat out doesn't like you most of the time, in my experience playing this game. Alright, looks like our warrior is managing to deter the barbarian scout that's kind of wandering around. But we have a lot of open land here that could very easily be used to expand our empire, as it were. And we've actually gotten our first settler, and what we're going to do is attach him to the warrior that we have, and that way it will be easier to maneuver him around. Now, one thing that would be useful for Rome would be to build a granary, just to... if we built a granary, then what we would be able to do is get additional housing capacity, which would allow us to have a larger population in Rome, and it would also help the city grow more. However, that's also going to take 8 turns, and honestly, I would really like to get another settler out, even though it will cost us precious population to do so. So I am going to go ahead and go for that second settler, because as Rome, the more that we expand in the early game, the better of a position that we're going to be in. Now, interestingly, we are kind of expanding into a place we didn't really know that much about before, even though it was right next to our borders. And it looks like the French are mad at us about something. Who knows? It probably has something to do with their agendas, telling us that we don't know a lot about the world around us, probably because we haven't sent any delegations to people. And the reason we haven't done that is because it costs 25 gold to do so, and the benefits of it are, in my experience, quite nominal. Which, I mean, honestly... Oh, looks like the French have denounced us, because we're weak in espionage. That makes a whole lot of sense. And that has a little bit to do with kind of my critique of the AI in this game compared to something like EU4, where in EU4 it acts for, historical reasons. Like, for example, you have land that I like, and you own it, and I want to own it, so I'm going to take it from you. That makes sense to me. In this game, it's silly things like, you help the city-state, or, as we just saw, you don't have espionage, and so I must destroy you. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, we finished early Empire, and this is important because now we can pick up a policy that is going to allow us to build settlers faster. And so that now this settler is going to get much more production towards it, which is quite good. Now, that being said, if we look at our civics tree here, one of the most important cultural policies in the game at the start is political philosophy here. Because it allows you to pick a government that allows you to have more policies, and more policies is good. So we're going to have a startup state workforce to start, building up, basically, and get closer to that goal of getting that. We'll continue to move our scout around, as we are perpetually wary of threats. We've killed another barbarian scout. Good for us. Now, it's important that we build our cities next to rivers and other sources of fresh water, because housing is in a large part determined by the amount of fresh water that you have access to. And typically, you're either going to get fresh water from primarily rivers or from the coast, but coast tiles in the current vanilla build of the game are quite weak, and so we will prefer to expand to places like this that have a decent amount of production and otherwise. It appears we're waiting for something for the turn to end. Alright, looks like we're on our next turn, and let's go ahead and build in the rainforest here. And we have Antium as our next city. Fair enough. Antium here is very close to a horse's tile, so what we're going to do right from the get-go is go ahead and buy that tile, since it's going to be of particular use to us. In this city, since we get our monument for free, we're getting an additional plus 2.3 from an existing. Plus 2 from the monument itself, of course. And to start with, we're going to build a... I like to build builders in new cities, just because when they finish, they don't take too much production, and when they are finished, you can get a lot of... you can start improving the land around the city itself, which is, really powerful, as you might imagine. Now, let's go ahead and do what we did with the other city. We're going to focus production and food. Let's look at what tile it's actually working. It's working the bananas tile, so we're going to lock that tile in, just to make sure that the mayor AI of the city doesn't do anything silly in our absence. Alright, we have researched plantations. And we could build the Hanging Gardens Wonder if we felt like it, but wonders aren't nearly as powerful in this game as they were in previous Civ games, so not really a big deal. Now, one thing that we could choose, since we've already branched up enough up this path, we could research currency, and which would allow us to build, from what I understand of watching other people play, the Commerce Hub is one of the most powerful buildings or districts in the game. And districts, of course, being different from buildings. Looks like Germany just wants access, presumably for purposes of exploration. I don't see why not. It's going to give us a, better relations overall, I would say. Let's see if he will accept a delegation. Excellent. He doesn't seem interested in friendship, but that's fine. It's just typical of the AI on this difficulty. Alright, now we have another settler. And we're going to begin to move him over to the coast here, because while the sea tiles themselves aren't very good, there is a very good position right here where we could get access to marble, a couple of hills, some rice, plenty of things that would make for a good city. Now, I hate to do this to Rome, but I think it's in our interest to build yet another settler to continue to expand while these other cities are beginning to grow. Alright, looks like our scout is being attacked. We're going to try to get him away from those barbarians down there, as we continue to move our settler closer and closer. Now, it is a little bit dangerous the way I'm moving my settler without a warrior in tow, because it could easily get stolen by a barbarian out of the mist. However, I felt pretty confident in the way that we expanded here. So let's go ahead and fortify that warrior until he's fully healed. And despite having a lot of neighbors, it looks like we are going to be able to expand quite a lot, actually. So I'll be looking forward to that, though some of our rivals here may be a little upset about that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and build our next city, and because we built the city on the coast, we get the Eureka for the sailing technology, and here we have Ostia. Ostia is growing quite quickly because it has access to a good amount of food. However, it is going to take a while for them to get enough production to actually, start growing. It looks like the Germans are offering us friendship, which I find to be quite important. Just having a friend can mean a lot in terms of people being a little bit more deterred in terms of attacking you. Though obviously a big military would help us with that endeavor as well. Something we'll be working towards once we unlock our legions. For the time being, however, we are more interested in building up our empire itself. It looks like the Norwegians are impressed with our culture. Fair enough.
Begins with a strong, well-educated workforce.
Alright, we've completed state workforce, which is a good policy, or a good, yeah, I guess these are cultural policies. Anyway, the conscription policy is quite useful in the early game for if we're going for like an early game push, which is absolutely what we're doing. And because we have the opportunity to change our policies every time we get a new age, we're going to go ahead and switch the production of settlers to +1 production in all cities, because we have 3 cities now, and this is going to make a large impact on the amount of turns it takes to train some of these units. Alright, now, it's also very important that we get political philosophy rolling here, because that will allow us to have multiple policies without really sacrificing that much, which is very important. And we've been fortunate so far that the barbarians haven't really been aggressive at all in attacking us. That being said, we do have a somewhat aggressive neighbor here in the French, and we'll be looking to probably conquer them first, just because they don't like us, we don't like them. It seems like a natural rivalry that we'll be able to capitalize on. Alright, we have advanced to the classical era, which means we can now build the commercial hub district, a very powerful district that allows you to get an additional trade route, as well as get more money, which is very important for building armies, as you might imagine. We're going to go ahead and build another warrior in Rome, because we can actually, you know, make the warrior into a legion once we get the technology. Because of this scout, I'm going to leave the settler in Rome for the time being, but we will be expanding down towards Germany. In the meantime, let's go ahead and research bronze working, even though it is going to take a while to unlock, just because we can get spearmen, and more importantly, after we research bronze working, we will have the technology to produce legions. Germany is impressed by the number of people living in our empire, even though it's 6 total at the moment. Alright, our worker in Antium is done, and we're actually going to use this time to start building a commercial hub in this city, and try to get this warrior back over to Rome. We should probably do the same with this one, not have our troops leave, you know, go too far from home, as it were. Especially since our caravan here could actually get raided. However, we have just unlocked political philosophy, which is going to allow us to change into our first form of government. And this is an interesting choice, because while we are going for kind of an early game bonus, having autocracy would be quite helpful for getting those military policies to help us out. However, the +1 boost to all yields isn't really that great, and the 10% bonus on wonder production is also kind of mediocre. So what I think is better for us is the oligarchy government, which is going to improve our land melee units by +4. Very useful for our legions, and over time it will give us 20% experience for combat units. So very powerful starting bonus for us here. And for starters, we're going to, we no longer get the +5 bonus against barbarians, so we're going to, actually no, we do, we still get it. So what we're going to do for our, we're going to keep discipline, we're going to keep urban planning, and next we're going to start up charismatic leader, which gives us an additional +2 points towards getting envoys for city-states, which will allow us to get more bonuses. And then, this is kind of a tough call, because land maintenance reduced by 1 is quite useful, but we don't really need it yet. So getting 30% production towards builders also seems quite powerful to me. So let's go ahead and pick that up for the time being, get some more builders out, and work our way from there. Now, I think it goes without saying that getting the Colosseum as Rome would be iconic, to say the least. So it's also quite a powerful wonder in in its own right. So we'll be looking to expand into that. All right, looks like the Norwegians want open borders. Hopefully they don't plan on murdering us. That would be quite unfortunate, but... Alright, the Barbarian Scout and Warrior to the north seem to have moved a decent bit away. Our Warrior slowly but surely making his way back, and our Scout is going to provide us valuable intel on what we might be able to expand to down here. As a matter of fact, the Germans might beat us to the punch in expanding near this river, which would kind of suck. Barbarian camp spawned in the fog of war here, as we can see. Terrifying stuff. Now, we built another warrior in the capital. I'm going to start building another builder just because we have so many more tiles left to improve. Alright, let's build a pasture here on these horses. In addition to giving us a bonus production, it also it gives us one of the horses' resource, which is going to allow us to build horses if we would so desire, horsemen. It looks like France is also impressed with the amount of culture that we have because, as Rome, we're getting those bonus monuments in all of our cities, which means that we're getting a lot of culture, which is quite helpful. Alright, looks like we have an opportunity to kill off this scout. I think we're absolutely going to do that. And we got the Eureka from Bronze working for doing that, so a very good move on our part for doing that. Let's go ahead and fortify that warrior. And then the last thing we want to improve here, it's a tough call, but probably going to go for the iron, or this hill here, just to get a bonus to production. Alright, looks like we've got a scout kind of trolling around here, looking for our settler, so we're going to leave the settler in the city for the time being. And, it's a tough call. I would really like to go for ironworking as soon as possible. And I don't really see anything else that I might want, so let's go ahead and go for that as soon as possible. And then we'll start building some legions to prepare for some early game aggression against some of our opponents here. As we can see, we're getting that nice bonus for being Rome of all of these roads just for free, which allows our, people to move more easily in between the nation. Did not mean to move that scout there. Rather unfortunate decision on my part, I suppose. We'll go ahead and sleep that worker, or that settler for the time being. Alright, this builder has one charge left, so let's go ahead and finish up the production. And here, let's see, we don't really have a good place for either a commercial hub, but we do have a good place for a campus district. So I think we will absolutely pick up the campus district here in Ostia, start building it on this hill. Let's go ahead and improve this quarry, give it some more production. Now, unfortunately, this scout is going to troll us by walking around and threatening to steal our settler at pretty much every convenience. Which sucks. He might also try to raid this caravan, which I'm not a big fan of either, if I'm being honest. Now let's see. In Rome, we could build a commercial hub, but I think what we're going to build is an encampment. And the reason for that is because we really want to be able to get some units out and get bonuses for those legions. So let's go ahead and build an encampment. Get that going. Alright, let's go ahead and move this builder now. Start improving provinces. Or I want to say provinces because I'm so used to EU4, but they're tiles. They're tiles, and I gotta remember that. Now, I forgot to announce this at the start of the video, but by now, if you're still watching, this is an hour-long special. Not normally something I do. I typically shoot for 15-minute episodes, just because they're a lot easier to compress. But that being said, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed all the same, despite the length. I just thought it would be a nice way to reward my, subscribership for getting up to 10,000 views. It looks like our trade caravan is intact. And we've also just built a pasture, which will give us an additional production in Rome. Very important. Alright, looks like Norway has got a religion, Protestantism. It's fine if we get religion. I'm not really mad about it. And we finished games and recreation. How nice. It's okay. More importantly, it does give us the entertainment complex, which will allow us to build the Colosseum, if we manage to build that. Now next we should probably focus on military tradition. Getting an early great general will be extremely helpful in using legions to get some early conquering done, as it were. Alright. Next, in the city of Rome itself, we should probably go build a improvement on this T here. We do see some promoted Norwegian warriors on our borders that we're going to feel a little concerned about, if we're being honest. But to that end, let's keep moving this settler. Let's see what the tenets of Protestantism are. It looks like all world wonders provide +4 faith and allows the construction of synagogues in holy site districts, which give a bonus to, faith. So, whoop-de-doo, basically. Now, we're going to need a lot of money to fund this war. However, we do have two production city-states that we may be interested in sending an envoy to as well. So Toronto gives +2 production in the capital when building wonders, buildings, and districts, which is quite powerful. We could really make use of that. And then the other is, I believe, Brussels, who gives the same bonus. Okay, so they give the same bonus at the level 1 tier, but then their unique bonus is different. So Brussels is going to give us a bonus towards building wonders. Toronto is going to give us a gives a bonus to regional effects from industrial zones and entertainment complexes, which reach 3 tiles farther. So I think this one's quite useful for us. I think we're going to go ahead and send a envoy to Toronto, especially since it'll help us build our encampment district faster, which is very important. Alright, well, let's get ready here to build our next city. This may anger the Germans. I'm aware of this. However, I think it's well worth the asking price. We're going to go ahead and build some farms on this rice. I love rice. I think it's a very good food. Especially love a good fried rice. Fantastic stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and build up the city. And it automatically gets a road because Rome. And here we are, the city of Ravenna. We're going to go ahead and start building a builder, just because I think it's a good starting decision. And we're going to manage the citizens, of course, change the focuses, and we're going to lock this marsh tile here. And I think we're going to go ahead and make an aggressive play and buy this quarryable tile just to stop the Germans from potentially getting it. As you can see, we've already got quite a sizable or decently sized empire here. We've got 4 cities already, all of which are building up fairly quickly. This is, all things considered, considering this is a very slow board game type thing. And we're going to go ahead and build a plantation on this tile with the T. Gives us an additional gold per turn, which is alright, but I mean, hey, every gold matters when you're planning to do some early game pushes. Alright, looks like Brazil is upset about us expanding, and we'll tell him that we're not going to expand towards him anymore, just because we're probably not going to build settlers in the near future. We will build them eventually, but not at the moment. So we've just gotten this policy that gives us great general points per turn, and more or less how that works is every turn we're going to get these points, and eventually they'll add up so that we can recruit this great general that will, lead our troops, make our troops better. Can't think of any other policy I'd really want other than the ones I've currently got, so we're going to go ahead and leave those as is. And we're going to go ahead and, I think I am going to go ahead and research mysticism because the +2 great science scientist points per turn is quite useful, I find. Alright, so next up, what should we do with this builder? We could send him to Antium to improve one of these rice, and I think that's a better use than anything else I would probably think of him doing here, so we'll go ahead and do that. The Germans have expanded and made a second city of Magdeburg, so good for them, I suppose. And what we're going to do here is we're going to build up some, we're going to build a couple warriors in the meantime, or at least build one warrior, while we're waiting for the technology to unlock, because as soon as we can, we want to upgrade these warriors to legions. Alright, mysticism is done. We're going to go ahead and research military training, since that will it will improve our ability to work with encampments, which is useful. Alright, looks like the Norwegians are doing something here with their units. I'm not particularly sure what and whether or not they plan on betraying us. But we're going to go ahead and move our troops into kind of a defensive position here around Rome. It's just a couple of warriors, so shouldn't be any issues. It looks like the Norwegians want to be friends, so we've managed to earn ourselves 2 friends right off the bat, which is, you know, unusual for me to say the least. Normally everyone hates my guts, but that's fine by me. Now, unfortunately, we can't build another warrior in the time it would take to get to Legion, so what we're going to build instead, I think, is let's build a market here to help kind of finance this early push that we're coming up with. Let's go ahead and use the last charge on this builder to get some rice up, as well as give us half a point of housing, which doesn't really mean anything, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, we've completed ironworking. Huzzah! And we've completed military training. Now, I think that the bonus here is going to be more useful for the time being than the bonus against barbarians, especially since we've just unlocked legions, which are going to cost 110 to upgrade to, but that's fine because we certainly have the money to do that. So our warrior is going to go from 20 combat strength to 40, and we also get a +4 from the oligarchy, so they're up to a base of 44 basically, which is quite strong. As we can see, our economy is going to tank somewhat because of this, but now we can focus on more economic technologies. And getting the battering ram is also going to be quite helpful for us, especially if we plan on taking the French city of Marseilles. Let's go ahead and research defensive tactics just because. And I'm going to go ahead and build a barracks in Rome as well, because that will make it so that the amount of experience our troops need to upgrade to the next level isn't going to be nearly as high. Alright, we've got 2 envoys that we could send, and I think we're going to send them to Zanzibar just so that we can continue to support our army. This will give us more gold per turn. Quite useful, as you might imagine. Germany doesn't like it when you get friendly with city-states, but it's a part of the game, and honestly they should change that because it's kind of bullshit if you're just using a game mechanic for someone to be angry at you. Norway's upset with us because we don't have a big navy, but the navy is kind of pointless in this situation, so not really taking him that seriously either, especially considering that they're our friends anyway. Let's move this legion up. I like the sprites on those. Very nice. As you can see, we have a couple legions here. The Norwegians, not quite sure what their army is doing, making me admittedly a little bit nervous. Not quite sure why all of his troops are in my land. I'm about to cancel open borders just so he'll leave, but we're gonna win. We're just gonna start let's train this legion on these warriors here. Alright, looks like he's moving most of his troops out. That's good. Just please go. Basically. Let's go ahead and kill that. He should get a promotion, and he didn't. Getting a couple of early level 1 promotions for our legions would be quite helpful against fighting the French. But for the time being, we're going to just kind of consolidate and start actually building up. Let's go ahead and research sailing. We could build like a trireme and explore and stuff. Let's build a. Let's start building some more legions, though. Very powerful units at this stage in the game. Let's go ahead and fortify this. Actually, this legion's got plenty of health left. The number looked a little bit deceptive. Alright, our legion was attacked. That's fine. We'll go ahead and kill off this warrior, which will give us a promotion, which we'll use to increase our combat effectiveness. Now, we've completed our trade route to Brussels, but we can start trading with Antium. Internal trade routes are really powerful because they give you bonus production. Alright, looks like the French have sent us a delegation. That's fine. You can have that because we're about to destroy you.
It is not that life is short.
Alright, let's go ahead and move him over here. We'll promote him, which will also heal us. We'll take the 10 defense against ranged attacks and move this unit closer to the slingers here. Let's go ahead and research the wheel. It's a decent technology, and in case we want to build heavy chariots, just in case. Alright, let's go ahead and wipe these slingers from the face of the map. It's going to give our other legion a promotion. Very good stuff. Let's go ahead and fortify him. And we're actually going to move this legion around because we want to clear this barbarian camp to get a little bit of extra gold. We'll train this legion in the battle cry promotion, which will give us an additional bonus 7 combat strength when fighting land units. So putting that up to 47 base, 51 with bonuses included. Then we can build another encampment here, and I think we're going to do that. I think that's a decent idea. Let's go ahead and build it on this road here. And we've managed to finish our campus here in Ostia, but what we're going to build now is a granary, just so that the city can actually grow. And it only has 3 housing capacity anyway, so it's pretty much limited until we build that granary. I think the barbarian is going to destroy that trade route, which is unfortunate, but we're going to go ahead and finish this off, get some gold out of it. Good stuff. And looks like the trader survived, so that's nice. Alright, we've finished defensive tactics. Didn't really need it, but let's go ahead and research drama and poetry, just because, more or less. And let's build a battering ram for our legions here. Now the question is going to be, how do we want to attack France, more or less? Let's see, in this province, I think it would behoove us to build a commercial district. I like the sound of that. Let's go ahead and get onto this wheat, build a farm on there, just to get that away. Let's move up our legion to protect against these slingers, who are probably going to kill this German warrior. Alright, we're going to go ahead and kill that slinger. And we're going to go ahead and build a mine, probably a farm here as well. Let's get horseback riding unlocked. Killed off this scout. And let's get our legions moving as well. Now, thankfully, it looks like Marseilles is going to be a fairly easy city to siege. And getting this extra production in Ravenna is going to be extremely useful, I think. Let's go ahead and fortify this legion until it's healed. Same with this one. I think we've got a decent number of legions, actually, available. So if you take a look at the relative military strength here, we are leading in military strength, with the French actually being the second most powerful nation. So we'll be looking out for that, and we'll also see how true that is once we actually start fighting them. We've only got one envoy, so I'm not really worried about sending another one. And let's go ahead and build another mine in Ravenna, just to improve its production later down the line when it has enough food to support itself. Alright, Rome has finished up a battering ram. And I want to go ahead and train another legion. We can claim a great person. I hope it's a great general. Yes. So this great general is going to give us +1 combat strength and +1 movement to classical and medieval era land units within 2 tiles. Excellent. This is stupendous because it's going to help us overcome a significant limitation of the legions, being their movement. So that's going to really help out in this conquest. Alright, we finished up our next technology. Let's go ahead and... This is a tough call. But I think that we're going to go for construction, because the siege tower is an extremely powerful unit for, sieges. Especially once our enemies start getting, walls to actually defend themselves. Let's go ahead and pick up recorded history, just to help get some science going. And as a matter of fact, let's build a library here in Ostia, in the campus to, get us some more science to help us progress, as it were. We'll see how tough the French military is after we're done with them. Got some, now the interesting thing to me about this game, one of the cool sound design decisions that they made is that the music that plays is based on, oh, France wants us to move away our troops. We're going to ignore this request. Alright, looks like our declaration of friendship has ended with Germany. Looks like they don't want to accept again, so maybe they're not as friendly as they would seem. Looks like the French's denouncement of us has ended. Now, they are friendly with the Germans, which means by attacking them, things are going to get a little bit dangerous for us in terms of the Germans being upset with us. But the Germans didn't have a very big army from what I... actually, they've got the second biggest army around, so maybe we will... have to be a little bit wary of that by keeping a legion around to help defend our cities. But apart from that, I'm not really that threatened by either of these people, thanks to these mighty legions that we currently have. Let's go ahead and sleep you. So we have a decision to make. We could declare a surprise war on the French, which wouldn't really be a surprise, and everyone would get a warmonger penalty with this, or we could denounce them, wait 5 turns, and then attack. Which would give them time to prepare, basically. However, the penalty at this stage in the game is not as high as it could be, and so I think we're going to go ahead and just declare the surprise war against them. I doubt that the French are actually that surprised. But let's go ahead and begin moving in the troops. Now we can just massacre this spearman here. We get a bonus against anti-cavalry units, we get the bonus from oligarchy, we get a combat bonus from our great general. Yeah, that's just, it's a slaughter. And we get that extra bonus movement from the great general himself. Now it looks like they do have horsemen and heavy chariots. However, our legions are going to hold the line, I think, quite effectively against them. We'll see how well they do. I guess Norway's a little bit worried about our military being so close to theirs. I guess that's understandable. Let's see, let's get the battering ram here, move them across. We are going to take some damage moving into this city here, but that's the way it goes. I don't see them attacking our legions, which gives me a lot of confidence in our troops. Here in Antium, I think we're going to go ahead and build a granary to improve the amount of housing in the city. And we're going to go ahead and, let's see, we can't pillage this province yet, and I don't see a point in attacking across the river into a city. So we're going to go ahead and skip the turn for that unit. And then this legion, we're going to keep him on standby over here in case something else attacks us. It looks like the Germans want to be our friends once again, despite us attacking the French. Good for us, I suppose. Now, even though we're attacking across the river here, we massively overpower this warrior, so we're going to go ahead and take that fight. We're going to move this legion up, and we can begin to properly siege the area, as it were. We could destroy this scout, though. However, I don't think we're going to. So let's just go ahead and begin besieging the city. Our legions are much stronger than the city's garrison, and so our legions aren't really taking that much damage in return. We'll go ahead and keep the battering ram on standby. Looks like we are going to capture Marseilles pretty quickly here. And I think I will end the episode on that note once I do that. We've got another legion ready in Rome itself. Continue moving the units closer and closer. Alright, this unit got promoted. And let's go ahead and have this legion capture Marseilles. We've gained 2 new technologies as a result of this, which is quite useful. And let's go ahead and pick up, I think we're going to go with feudalism. However, getting civil service to get an alliance or additional culture from districts is also quite useful. We could go ahead and get a free attack on one of these units, and I think we're absolutely going to go for that, because that'll get our legion promoted. And I don't think the French really have a good response to what we're doing to them here. And we are going to keep the city just because it has so much population in it. But that being said, I think we've done a really good first hour special on Civilization 6. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this, and I hope that everyone likes it enough that we can continue doing a series on this. So thank you so much for joining me, my fellow conquerors, and I'll see you on the next episode.